Hey College and Career Success, welcome back. This is your Week 6, Chapter 10 assignment. So the previous video discussed just your Chapter 9 assignments. This one will discuss just Chapter 10. But as a reminder, you still have 2 discussion forums this week, so please make sure you post in both for your weekly attendance. So Chapter 10, there's your check-in reflection survey. Chapter 10 talks a lot about just like money management, your financial decisions, things of that nature. And so naturally, your discussion forum is going to revolve around that. It says, how do you feel when you do not have enough money for something? Will you stop spending on some wants while you build up your emergency fund? I know a lot of students in this class are currently still in high school, so you can kind of think about it from that perspective. Like, are you working or do you rely on some kind of supplement from your parents? Those of you who are out of the house, how do you kind of plan the budget for your household? So just, it's going to vary depending on where you are in your life. So I think it's something though that we can all relate to, because money is something we all have to think about no matter where we are as we get older. So how do you feel when you do not have enough money for something, whether it's big or small? And then will you stop spending on your wants to help make sure that your emergency fund is built up, or even to make sure your needs are taken care of? So post by Wednesday for your weekly attendance, and then respond to 2 classmates by Sunday. All right, this next assignment, Chapter 10, is called Know Before You Owe. It's going to open up into this doc here. And to be able to complete this, we're going to go over to the Stark State homepage. And let's just say we're right here. I'm going to go under Paying for College. And I just want to real quick remind you all, because I think I talked about this in my welcome video. There's a scholarship area that I encourage you to take a look at. Scholarships are available for students, and it's not always based on GPA. There are different scholarships that are, click around here a little bit, that are based on degrees. They're based on maybe demographics, and so please take a look, because sometimes the money just kind of waits for people to apply, and a lot of the scholarship applications are very quick. This one, for instance, right here is literally just a few pieces of information, and you hit submit, and then it sees what you are qualified for. Others, like the external scholarships, you might have some essays to write, but again, if you have to spend a few hours writing an essay and you get $1,000 back, I think that's a pretty good use of time. So just make sure to check that out. All right, also under Paying for College, we're going to go to tuition and fees. This is how we're going to get this information. And so here are a list of the fees effective this fall. Down here are a little bit more, depending on your program area. You might have certain fees you can see based on, like, if you're in culinary or judicial reporting or whatever it might be. But for now, for this assignment, we're just going to focus on this table. So up here, it has the example, and I'm going to walk you through one as well. We're going to come up with 2 students, one that gets a refund and one who does not. They have to owe. So we're going to fill this first out, and a couple boxes are going to be the same. So tuition and fees. So I want you to look at your table, and even if you're a CCP student and this is covered for you, I still want you to fill this out. So if you're taking however many credits, if you're taking 8 credits this summer, look over, or you can base it on your fall schedule if you're only taking like 1 class this semester. For this purpose, I'm just going to keep it easier for me math-wise during the video and just keep it at $5,998. So I'm going to say 98, and that's what both of them are going to get. So whatever you put in one, you're putting in both. Room and board, well, this is not a residential campus, so you could put 0 here, or if you are paying, for an apartment, if you're paying for gas, you could always add, on like, I don't know, $100, $200, whatever it might be. I'm just going to go ahead and add 0. And then our expense total, and I have no idea why that is so small. Now we're going to try to figure out, one student is going to get more than they need and one student is not. So let's say this student here gets $1,200. It covers it, right? Let's say this student here only gets $700. What you're going to do is take this number minus this number. So yes, you're going to get a negative number, which sounds weird, but you're going to go ahead and take that number minus that number, which is, in this case, negative $202. Over here, this number minus this number is going to be $298. So this means this student is getting a refund of $202. This student owes $298. Okay, that's the first part. The second part is answering these questions down here, and this does not let me interact. So what you can do here is go into the box you'll make sure up here you save this with your changes and upload the file. And then under the Create Submission area, you're going to answer those two questions. The questions are, what should student with excess aid, so right here, do with their refund check? And list two ways. So should they invest it, pay back their loan, use it for books, use it for school supplies, whatever it might be. And then what should the student who owes do to cover the difference? Now, this is not a huge difference. Some of you might have $1,000 or $2,000 difference. What are 4 ways to try to cover the difference? Should they look for another scholarship, a loan, a grant? Should they get a part-time job? Should they look for work study? What options should they look into? So that's what you will put right here. And then after you've done uploading that file and answering those questions, you'll just hit submit. All right, and then the other assignment for this week is your Chapter 10 quiz. So as always, it's going to be a Word doc here, and these are all going to be budget related. If you realized your expenses were greater than your income, what could you do to balance? Question 2 talks about banks or credit unions. What do you think about when you're considering one of those others? How do you know which one is best for you and why? Question 3, if the student, Amari, has been asked to lead a discussion about financial literacy and she's going to focus in on credit cards, what kind of things should she include? Pros, cons, things to look for. Question 4, this is going through that 5-step financial planning process. So in your textbook or in the video or in the PowerPoint, it goes through those 5 steps that people should use when they make financial decisions. And so Danny was hired to work in the bookstore. She wants to have extra money, but she wants to buy a new laptop. How can she walk through? And I would just make sure that you literally just sit here and go through all 5 steps and relate it back to Danny's goal in particular. And then the last one, compare and contrast grants, loans, and work study. What are the similarities? What are their differences? And which is the best to fund college, do you think, and why? All right, make sure when you're done with that, you submit that as well. And if you have any questions on Chapter 10, let me know, and have a great week.